The crystalline halls of the Valtorian palace rang with silence, the kind that follows catastrophic loss. King Zarketh stood before the viewing portal, his four eyes fixed on the distant nebula where the Battle of Crimson Reach had consumed 300 ships, including the one carrying his daughter, Commander Anna. 3 cycles had passed since the scanners went dark. 3 cycles since the Terran fleet had ambushed the Valtorian Expeditionary Force near the human frontier. The galaxy knew the Valtorians as conquerors, their exoskeletons impervious to most conventional weapons, their technology centuries ahead of the primitive mammals who called themselves humans. Yet those same humans had destroyed half his fleet and taken his daughter. Zarketh's mandibles clicked in grief. Anna had been his finest warrior, brilliant and merciless, destined to lead their armies across the spiral arm. Now she was gone, her essence scattered among the stars. The funeral rites had been performed. Her name was etched into the memorial spire. The kingdom had moved on. The alarm shattered the silence. "My lord," the communications officer burst into the throne room, his carapace flushed with alarm. "A single pilot craft has breached the inner defense perimeter. It's transmitting Commander Anna's personal code." "Impossible," Zarketh's primary heart skipped. "Destroy it, it's a human trick." "My lord, our scanners confirm Valtorian life signs, and—" the officer hesitated. "One human." The king's claws scraped against his throne. "Bring them to the landing bay, full military escort. If this is deception, I will personally tear that human apart." The bay fell silent as the battered craft settled onto the platform. It was a hybrid design, Valtorian hull plating fused with human propulsion systems, scorched and patched with materials from a dozen different ships. The kind of vessel only desperation could create. The hatch opened. Anna emerged first. Gasps echoed through the assembled honor guard. She was alive but changed. Her exoskeleton bore scars that would never fully heal, her left arm replaced with a crude cybernetic prosthetic of human design. She walked with a slight limp, favoring her right side. But her eyes, all 4 of them, burned with the same fierce intelligence Zarketh remembered. Behind her came the human. David was unremarkable by human standards, average height, dark hair, with the soft, vulnerable flesh that made his species seem so inadequate for warfare. He wore a tattered uniform that might have once been military, patched with Valtorian fabric. His eyes swept the bay with a warrior's caution, despite having no weapons, no armor, nothing but his fragile biology. "Father," Anna's voice resonated through the bay. She did not bow. "I have returned." Zarketh descended from the observation platform, his royal guard forming a protective barrier. "My daughter, we mourned you." "How?" "The Terrans captured 17 of us when my ship was destroyed," Anna interrupted. "They took us to a prison station orbiting their world. We were to be interrogated, studied, then executed." Her mandibles twitched. "Standard procedure for both our civilizations." "Then how do you stand here?" Anna glanced back at David. "This human saved my life." The bay erupted in incredulous chittering. Zarketh raised a claw for silence. "Explain." David stepped forward and a dozen weapons trained on him instantly. He raised his hand slowly. "Your Majesty, I was a maintenance engineer on that station. Not a soldier. I fixed life support systems, ran diagnostics. When the prisoners arrived, I was ordered to reinforce their containment cells." His voice was steady despite the weapons. Commander Anna was dying. The Terrans had put her in a standard atmospheric cell, oxygen-nitrogen mix, suitable for humans. But Valtorians require higher methane concentrations. She was suffocating. Anna continued the story. "The guards didn't care. They said it would make interrogation easier if I was weak. For 2 days, I felt my respiratory system failing. Then, in the middle of 3rd shift, this human appeared outside my cell." "I couldn't watch it," David said quietly. "I'd spent 3 years on that station, and I'd seen things that made me question who the real monsters were. So I accessed the atmospheric controls and adjusted her cell to Valtorian specifications. It should have been impossible to do without authorization, but he's a gifted engineer, Anna interjected. He bypassed 17 security protocols in under 10 minutes. Zarkith's eyes narrowed. An act of mercy does not explain your escape, daughter. No, it doesn't, Anna's voice hardened. 2 weeks later, the Terran High Command issued termination orders for all prisoners. We were to be executed at dawn. David accessed the security feeds and learned of this. He had a choice: stay silent and live, or risk everything for enemies of his species. David's jaw tightened. They were going to kill children, Your Majesty. 3 of your people in those cells were juveniles, barely old enough to serve. I didn't sign up to murder kids, no matter what species they were. He opened all our cells, Anna said, provided us with weapons he'd stolen from the armory. We fought our way to the hangar bay, but the station was on full alert. We lost 9 of our number in the escape. The remaining 8 of us would have died if David hadn't known every maintenance shaft and emergency passage in that facility. I also knew which ships had the fastest engines, David added, and which guard rotations were most lax. We hijacked a patrol craft and ran. Your people made it to the nearest Valtorian outpost. He paused. I had nowhere to go. Helping your prisoners made me a traitor to the Terran Federation. So Anna offered me asylum. Zarkith circled them slowly, his massive form dwarfing the human. You expect me to believe a human acted from pure altruism, that you expect no reward. I expect to be executed honestly, David replied. I've seen enough of this war to know how both sides treat the other. I'm here because Anna insisted I would receive fair judgment. If she was wrong, then I die knowing I saved 17 lives. I can live with that trade. Well, briefly. The king's mandibles clicked, the Valtorian equivalent of a bitter laugh. You have courage for a mammal. He turned to his daughter. Anna, you bring a human into my palace, into the heart of our kingdom. You vouch for him. With my life, father. David risked everything when he had no reason to care whether I lived or died. He showed me that honor is not exclusive to our species. And, she paused, her voice softening. He taught me to question what we've been told about humanity. If one human can possess such integrity, perhaps we've been wrong about all of them. The throne room fell silent. Zarkith studied the unlikely pair, his warrior daughter, scarred and changed, standing beside a fragile human who had committed treason for strangers. Finally, the king spoke. David of Terra, you have done what no human has done in 300 years of war. You have shown mercy to the Valtorian people. You have saved the life of a royal heir, and you have demonstrated that courage and honor can exist even in our enemies. He raised his voice so all could hear. I grant you asylum in the Valtorian kingdom. You will be under my personal protection. Any who harm you will answer to me. David's eyes widened. Your Majesty, Furthermore, Zarkith continued, you will serve as ambassador to your people. If one human and one Valtorian can find common ground in a prison station, perhaps our civilizations can find it as well. This war has cost me a daughter once. I will not lose her again to battles that serve only death. Anna's mandibles clicked in surprised approval. Father, are you suggesting? I am suggesting that perhaps it takes a dead daughter returning from the stars to teach an old king wisdom. Zarkith placed a claw gently on Anna's shoulder, then extended his other claw toward David. Welcome to the Valtorian kingdom, David of Terra. You have given me back my daughter. Perhaps together you can give the galaxy back its peace. David clasped the offered claw carefully, his small human hand disappearing within the king's grasp. I'll do everything I can, Your Majesty. As the court erupted in astonished chatter, Anna caught David's eye and clicked her mandibles in the Valtorian gesture of gratitude. He smiled back. That simple human expression that she'd learned meant friendship, hope, and new beginnings. The war was far from over, But in that moment, in the crystalline halls of the Valtorian palace, two unlikely allies had planted the seed of something the galaxy desperately needed: the possibility that enemies could become something more.